Hey guys, and welcome back to another video, and today we're going to take a look at the Baryonyx. It was suggested by this user here on YouTube. If you have a creature you want this type of video being made of, make sure to comment it down below or join my Discord and comment it there, and I will prioritize that creature, as otherwise I will do these alphabetically. Also make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video, as both help me out a lot and they're completely free, and you can always change your mind later. So, without further ado, let's get into this. So firstly, how does the Baryonyx behave in the wild? Well, first of all, it is an amphibious creature, meaning that they spend time both in water and on land. So naturally, you'll find them in areas where you find both of these things. Now, they are both meat and fish eaters, so naturally, you'll find them hunting prey like most other carnivores. In the water, they spend most of their time fighting turtles, while on land, they'll hunt pretty much any medium to small sized herbivore. However, their aggro radius is pretty small though, so a lot of the time, even though there are prey nearby, you'll just find them roaming around alone without really doing anything. So encountering these in the wild is not that dangerous if you keep your distance, because as mentioned earlier, their aggro radius is pretty small. So if you keep your distance, you should be fine. However, if you end up making them upset, you're pretty much dead if you're on foot, because these guys are really fast, so you won't be able to outrun these guys. So they're basically gonna attack you until you're dead. However, if you're riding a mount, at least a mount accessed at level 20 or up, you should be able to survive just fine. They don't deal that much damage, so you should be able to last long enough to get away or be able to kill them. But where these guys face a real threat is not on land but in the water, because when you encounter these in the water, they can spin around, hitting you with their tail, which knocks you off your mount and stuns you for a couple of seconds, leaving you vulnerable from attacks from the Baryonyx and potential other dangerous animals in the water. Which also includes flyers if you're hovering too close to the water surface, so be careful. They can also use this attack on other wild animals, although they don't seem to really use it on anything bigger than a turtle. You can see here that it did it with the turtle, but it doesn't seem to do it on this megalodon. It's just attacking it with its normal bite attack. So these guys are pretty good, so you obviously want to tame one. So first of all, where do these guys live? Well, we've already talked about what kind of habitat they live in, and that also kind of explains where they live too. You can find them in practically any river and lake on the island, although they aren't really guaranteed to be found at any of these locations, and you might search a while before you come across one. So if you want to search an area where you're definitely guaranteed to find one, then I would go for the swamp, as they're the most common there. The taming method is a standard knockout tame, but the best way to do this is obviously trapping it first. So if you're in the later stage of the game and you have a Quetzal or on other maps a Wyvern, you can just use this to pick them up and drop them in a taming cage. But because you can ride these guys at level 49, you might tame these before you have those animals to pick them up with. So you'll probably have to do it on foot. And it's still pretty simple. I mean, the cheapest way that I found was to simply use a wood foundation with door frames on all sides and a ramp leading up one end, and just lead them into the cage. Simple as that. They will damage the wood, but you can knock them out before they break it, so it shouldn't be a problem. Just make sure to repair it if you use it multiple times. So knocking it out, you can use trank arrows in a crossbow, or darts if you have that available, and just shoot it until it passes out. So when you've knocked it out, feed it some irregular or better kibble, as that's its favorite food, or if you don't have the kibble made, use prime fish meat or regular fish meat. They do not eat prime or regular meat, very important. Then just wait until it's tamed, give it a name, make a saddle for it, and you got yourself a Baryonyx ready to be used. So what can you use your Baryonyx for? Well, first of all, stat-wise, it has pretty good stats across the board. Good speed, health, stamina, and weight. I would say the weakest point is their damage. They have one bite attack that deals an okay amount of damage, but not that much. Although you can always level up the melee damage to make it better though. Although the best part about these is that you can use them as both a water mount and a land mount. Although there is a few things to know about these guys in the water though. First of all, the speed is kind of meh. It's not the slowest mount out there, but it's not the fastest either, and it doesn't seem to be any way to level up the speed. They don't have an oxygen stat, and the movement speed stat seem to only affect the land speed, so you're pretty much going to be stuck at the default speed on these guys, which isn't that fast. Roughly the same as a megalodon. However, although the speed in the water is bad, they do have that tail swipe, which is a little bit OP, because it doesn't have any cooldown. So if you fight any medium-sized creature like megalodons, you can just continuously use the swipe and keep them stunned until you kill them, so they don't get any chance of dealing damage to you. Just note that this doesn't actually work on any bigger creatures though. As you can see, I'm using the tail swipe on these plesiosaurs and they don't get stunned. And because of that, and the fact that they're pretty slow, I wouldn't really recommend using these as a deep sea water mount, but keep to the shallows and the rivers and lakes of the island. It does have a couple of extra features I want to mention though. First of all, unlike most creatures where you kill a creature and the corpse will just lay there, the Baryonyx actually harvests the creature in its final bite. So when you kill a creature, you will also harvest it in that final blow. Also, the creature can roar. It doesn't serve any practical purpose other than looking cool. And finally, if you go into its little option wheel, you can see that it has a feature where it says seek fish on low health. Basically what this does is that if you dismount this guy and there's any fish nearby and it's low in health, it'll start, well, seeking and killing the fish for its food so that it'll start healing. So after all this, what can you use this guy for? I would personally use this as a main mount to travel around the island with. Considering that it can go well in both water and on land, you can basically traverse any terrain with this guy totally fine, so it is very useful for just traveling around. This is also a pretty good cave mount, although you will miss out on all the chitin and keratin from the creatures down there though. But it fits through most caves, it is more powerful than a raptor, so if you don't go for a saber-tooth, then this guy is a pretty good option. And that pretty much covers it. So if you did enjoy this video, again, make sure to like and subscribe. It helps getting it into the algorithm and growing the channel, and it means a lot. And again, it's totally free. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.